It is impossible to consistently behave in a manner inconsistent with how we see ourselves. We can do very few things in a positive way if we feel negative about ourselves. By developing a strong self image, you can accomplish incredible feats. What holds most people back from achieving their full potential is not their ability to perform certain activities, it is their negative self image. You must see and value yourself and add value to yourself so that to add values to others. Having low self esteem puts a ceiling on your potential, and in order to grow, you must believe that you are worth the effort. This is impossible to do with a negative self image. How do we improve this, and how do we understand this topic better? Well, today we are joined by Mr. Bonnie Kim, a leading corporate trainer, author of over 10 books, award-winning international motivation speaker, a Rotarian, and just to mention a few of his accomplishments. Welcome to Saturday Morning Live. Welcome, Mr. Bonnie, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for hosting me, Cherotich, and our viewers. I really appreciate all those who are following us on Facebook and all the media. We really appreciate and treasure you.
Right. Now, it is true when they say success does not just happen. Now, in your career, you have astonishingly managed to climb ranks from a loader at Nakumat to being a cook to cleaning up and becoming the head of training only at 22 years of age. How did you do this?
Wow, such an interesting question. And I always say that when I talk about the power of self-image is that number one is we actually become who we see ourselves becoming. You see, when I learn about the power of self-image, because this is something that came to me when I was teaching, when I was having my youth was in Rwanda teaching over 200 students, and I learned about the importance of the way we perceive ourselves as human beings. And for me, I had just come because I lost my first job. And my first job, I was a cyber cave attendant, and that was in books first. And when I lost my first job, I promised myself that the next job, I am going to give it my best and I'm going to give it my all. And that's how I came. When I joined from day one at Nakumat, I knew a trainer. I knew that department never existed, only existed in my crazy mind. But I knew that this was what I was going. So I used to tell myself that one day I'm going to be a trainer in this company. So whatever I was doing, I kept that picture of myself in front of my face every day because I knew this was what I was going for. And this kept pushing me and when I was from the kitchen now to becoming from a roader to be entering the kitchen, then to become now a cleaner, then a trainer. I think what helped me one was faith, and then number two was the affirmations. I used to have a lot of positivity each and every day, speaking to myself, spending time even when I sleep and before I wake up to see, just to fantasize myself becoming that. So I think also that actually really helped me.
Right. So you said you have the faith and also the vision. They call them affirmations because I know when you constantly tell yourself that this is who I want to be and this is who I am, you actually become who you always, think what you think of yourself. And that's very important for you to start with and say that affirmations are very important. Now, when you were a cleaner, I mean, who or what gave you the audacity or the dream to believe that you can be head of training at Nakumat or an author like you are right now, a global leader? Is it possible? It's possible that those who were cleaners with you, some might still be cleaners right now. What sets you apart?
I think, as I said, and one of the first book that I read that really provoked my thinking, I was given my friend in Rwanda, was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And that book, one of the principles that really intrigued me was begin with end in mind. And really that keep pushing. I remember even before I was a cleaner, having the audacity. I remember one time sharing with my colleague in the kitchen department that I want to become a trainer in this company. And he looked at me and said, Bonnie, in this company is not about who you know, is not about what you know or the level of qualification. It's about who you know. And I remember looking at him and he said, in life is not about having godfathers. Life is about having God the Father. And since for me, because I was born again and I was really ingrained and I was taught about faith and I used to read the Bible. So when I was having the audacity, one was coming from my faith in God. Number two, from self-realization, because I had led other people who have been able to achieve that. And then number three, I used to associate with people who have climbed the ladder of success in the company. They done the impossible. So I knew that, and I was fully convinced that it is going to happen. If it has happened to them, it can also happen to me. If they have achieved that, I can also be able to achieve that as a person. So that gave me a lot of conviction to know that I am heading to be a trainer. I did not even want for training. I just wanted to become a trainer. And you see that I became even a head of training. So that gave me and propelled my faith to believe in myself. That's it. The positive thinking also helps you, but above all, your faith in God is very, very important, because when you have faith in God, you become now unlimited. You are limited. But now when you're connected now with God, you become now unlimited. So there is nothing you feel that come rain, come sunshine, I'm going to do it, I'm going to achieve this, and this is for me.
Right, and that's profound. It's not about having godfathers, it's about God the Father. Faith is very paramount in our lives, in success. Now, talk to us about self image. How do we define it, and why is it important in our lives?
Wow. I think I'm known as self-image guru, and I say self-image is one of the lessons that have really improved my life since I started to study about self-image. And self-image, it is the mental picture of ourselves. It is the way we see ourselves here in the mind, in our mind. It is like the blueprint of who we actually are. You see, self-image forms our life patterns, and you see how we live our life is a byproduct of the life pattern, because I say we have success type personality and failure type personality. The success type personality, those people who have self-image, and you see, uh, self-image, it is the one that forms our limits and possibilities in life. When you say something that this is impossible, then believe me, it doesn't matter how talented or gifted you are, how many people are willing to help you. If you don't believe that it is possible deep inside your mind, in your mental pictures, in your self-image, in your belief system, believe me, no matter how many people try to help you, you cannot be able to do it. And when you believe something is possible, it doesn't matter how many people who tell you that cannot be done. The moment you see that in your mind that it is possible, it is doable, it is achievable, every day you'll be learning something that propels you to the next level. And that's why you see our self-image, it is the key to our personality, and it's also the key to our behavior. So when you change a man's self-image, you change their personality, and you also change their behavior. And that means you change the way they do things, you change the way they think, and you change their results in life. So when you change a man's self-image, then you are able to change their life. And the father of self-image, the person who really inspired me, is Dr. Maxwell Maltaz, who went to the best school in Europe to learn about plastic surgery. And you can imagine it was not discovered by a psychologist. Self-image was discovered by a surgeon, a doctor who was doing practical. And in his research, he was able to find that out of very successful surgery, he has two types of patients. One patient, after the surgery, they go out full of life, full of energy, because they have the new look. They look beautiful. They look wonderful. Maybe somebody got an accident. They had this figure face, their body. And they have the other second type, the people after very successful surgery who are looking good, full of emotion. They're looking down. The surgery was successful, but he went deep and realized that this set type of patient, despite very successful surgery, they were never able to erase a past image of who people used to criticize them as they were. So despite now looking good, they have had a successful surgery, but nothing has happened in their self-esteem. They still feel sad. They still think, I think these people are judging me. Maybe they know me from my past. And that's why I always tell people, what is the image that is driving you? And that's why self-image is important, because we have three types of self-image. One, how self-image that results from how others see you. Number two, the self-image that comes from how the individual perceive others see them. So you, as as yourself, you say, how are people seeing me? How will they say about me? And then there is the third self-image, which is how the individual sees himself. And that's why Dr. Maxwell concluded and said that at the end of the day, what we need is to see ourselves as we want to be. We have to erase. We all have a wrong self-image, maybe a negative self-image. We all have our path. But what determines how positive we are is the self-image you are creating today and striving towards achieving.
All right. Now, what I can pick that you have said is that it has to be instilled in our brains, in ourselves. We have to believe the best of ourselves. Now, given that you have a negative self-image, what are some of the ways we can improve our own self-image?
If you have a negative self-image, and this results because I say self-image comes one from experience, and through the third one, through the imagination. When you have a negative self-image, it comes, you have a lot of self-defeating thoughts that tells you cannot do it. This is not meant for you. This promotion is not meant for you. You cannot be able to pass that exam. You cannot be able to achieve. You cannot afford this house. You cannot afford this. So you're always thinking about limiting. So every day when you have a negative self-image, you keep limiting yourself. You see a molehill and you see a mountain. So every day, so your negative self-esteem goes down because you retract. So instead of increasing your area of possibility as we grow in life, how it should be, we keep reducing our area of possibility. Somebody who was full of life, full of potential, instead of looking outside, we keep looking inside. So, and that's why it leads to depression, then later to suicide, because you feel I'm not valuable. Nobody deserves a person like me. Nobody can accept me. Nobody can hire me. Oh, I have been sacked. Oh, I've been divorced. Oh, I have been separated. So nobody wants me. Oh, I've been auctioned. Oh, you see, I am not able to pay rent. Oh, you see, every day you wake up and see things that brings you inside. So you move out from all the social media. Nobody is calling you. You switch off from your friends. You no longer take calls. All the groups, you separate yourself because negative self-image separates you from the area of people who can increase you and grow you. And when you realize you're in this position, the first thing that I say is first accept yourself. And every negative thought, turn it around. Instead, say, I cannot afford this. You need to reverse that faster and say, how can I afford that? I was sacked in my job. Maybe my employer did not see the real potential. Where am I going to get the employer who appreciates me? Because you run to separate the facts. Because I tell people, I was writing my book, The Greatest Second, I was saying, when you have an employer and you lose your job, or maybe your employer sacks you, and number one, you have to realize that the employer had you because of the services that you are rendering. And you have to know every employer is looking for somebody who is delivering more than they are being paid for. So number one, you have to know that you are valuable. And I say, when you are hardworking as an employee, two things that can never happen. When you get hired by a greedy boss, no greedy boss wants to lose a hardworking employer. And you get hired by a very generous boss, you get promoted faster and get paid faster. So the best thing is first know yourself and then put yourself into a place of use. Be resourceful, be productive, learn something that makes you feel positive. Go even that Bible, look at positive things, get those motivational quotes, collect them, have that journal, have that notebook, something that you remember and makes you feel good about yourself, and surround yourself with positive friends who always see positive no matter the negatives in life.